I will go through everyone's landmarks individually now, because as it proved last time, if you don't play in the final, it won't appear. So I won't just go through Man City once and then expect it to do all of you. So again, I'm just going to start. When I click on these tabs very quickly, it's for you to pause. You might spot something I don't. Just want to focus on your own profile a bit more in more depth. Okay, so I think that wraps up Baldwin. There's nothing too much there to say. Baldwin, you just want him to leave, really. Bono, let's see if he played more games for the Scum. He's on international duty, which is good to see. Again, I don't think this is going to be changing too much for the next few years. There's not a lot to see there. His contract, obviously they only signed him for 18 million a few years ago. It's all about games now for Beasley. 7. So in 2 seasons, he played 11 league games. Someone who cost 24 million. That was only 18 and a bit the other day. There must be like other add-ons at international games, things like that. But it's just frustrating when you see like someone who's good enough to play Prem week in, week out, and it costs 24 million, just not really playing. It's just broken game, as Nick says. And he's not even on a lot of money. You think when they're not on a lot of money, teams can move in for them, but they need the player to get unhappy. Beasley's just slug. He's counting the cash. No plans, no plans, no plans. Just gonna set out his contract. Doesn't really care. He's counting the cash. Living in North London. Not much to say. He's good in the non-competitive. See his achievements. Tottenham have done anything? No. They've started to... Oh, well, Beasley probably wouldn't have played, so it's too early to judge Tottenham in that regard. Alright. Sorry, Bono, for being brief on your profile, but there's not a lot to say now. Don't know what's going to happen. 3 years takes you to 29. You need to leave, but it's going to be a couple of years before you kick up a fuss by the looks of things. It's all about Ireland for you, so hopefully you play and we can watch your performances in this year's Euros. Ireland have got a good chance, definitely, to get out of the... Well, we've got a good team, so it's a tough group. But with the potential of 3 getting through from every group, hopefully we do well. So Stephen, again, he's improved, I think. Pretty sure, was that 18 before? So before too long, I'd imagine some of these 1 or 2 might get to 20. But he's looking the best player now. 51 mil, England regular, on international duty, so he's going to play in the Euros. Advanced playmaker now. I find it hard to get the best out of these top players in the game as a manager myself. Not because he's not a good player, but when that's their best position, you really have to cater a formation for these players. So look, they have him as an advanced playmaker, but that completely gets rid of all his strength side of the game. So I mean, I wouldn't play him as an advanced playmaker. I find it tough to get the best position out of them. I'd probably have him as a deep line playmaker. See what that does. Again, it does get a lot of his great stuff, like his passing, his touch, and obviously you can put him on free kicks separately. But I find it hard to get the best out of him. Central midfielder looks obvious, but you lose out on the technique. You want to factor in that strength. So I'm always at a loss. Box to box, maybe. Box to box is good, but it doesn't. He can cross. He's skillful. He's not going to get his vision. So yeah, it's a tough one. That would just those people who just sit there. But anyway, there's no arrows anymore. You can't just do that and put an arrow forward. Let's check out what he's done. Wow. So you'd say probably he's had the same sort of year. On a managerial level, I prefer his season last year. More assists, 5 more assists for less 1 goal, and he had more man of the matches last year. But it's very consistent. It's linked into how City have done, I imagine. And from midfield, you know, 1 goal every 5 games. Good, very good. So Stephen's looking like the nicest out of everyone. Wouldn't have thought that after 3 seasons, was it? 4 seasons. And the achievements. So City won the Europa Cup. That was last season. Got in the team of the week twice. So we just want to start winning things now. Big Euros of England coming up. You're going to have to be their main guy. He's a hybrid of Lampard and Gerrard. I'd say he's more Gerrard than Lampard though. Okay, looking nice. We'll go on to Nick. I can see a lot of green here. Nick is on international duty though, so that's good. You know, you're going to be in the Euros, Nick. And I think you have improved. Concentration, I think, has got a little bit better. You've slowed down a bit. Italian football is going to do that to you. But your passing, off the ball, and your strength, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, has improved. Long shots, that's definitely come. I don't remember you having a 14. So it just shows you, even at this age, you're eking out a little bit. You're still unhappy. Obviously, no one signed you from the last one, which I was worried about. But Torino did get relegated. So look, it's the first time you played more than 20 games. So in 1 year, you played a third of your entire career's games. That was good, but a lot of them off the bench, though. It's disappointing. More starts would have built more improvement. Internationally, you're probably going to be a substitute looking at this. The Greek national team. So Serie B, let's see where Torino finished. What's going on? Serie B. Oh, can't look at the standings. Torino, second. So I think that's automatic promotion. So you were sort of squad rotation, backup, substitute bench for a team that got promoted. But considering they didn't play you much when they were in Serie A and they kept you on the bench on Serie B, you still want that move away. And you've got 1 year. So you're the most interesting one. This time next year, when I go 1 year forward, you're the one I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on to save your life. Because if you don't move, and considering you've been listed and loaned for so long now, I make it odds on that if I left it untouched, you would retire. Not this time next year, because you'd only be leaving Torino this time next year, but within by the January of 2026, so Christmas of, so 18 months from now, you probably make that decision to retire. I don't know when Mills and Ross actively made the decision to retire, but I'm sure it's going to be not long after the window closes, after they've been released. So in 10 months' time, you'll be in that situation. Because no one's going to sign you now. You're not worth that much. And I don't think anyone's going to pick you up on a free even. But hopefully I'll get you back into the game. So it won't be a case of you retiring unless you specifically request that you don't want any influence, any outside influence. But it'll get you back at Brentford. Just check how Brentford got on. Oh, after the heartbreak of missing in the playoffs, they finished mid-table. But they look like a mid-table championship side now, rather than yo-yoing. Okay, so see if you won anything in Serie B in terms of accolades. Greece best 11. So you're in the Greece best 11, but you only made 1 start and 1 sub. So pinch of salt maybe. We'll just keep a close eye. I'll keep a close eye on it. And if you're for any game you play, I will do a video. If you're not playing, though, I'm not going to do Greece's games, just because you're the only one worth following from their team. All right, we'll move on to Mono. Still worth a lot of money. Again, we're all on that long-term contract issue. He hasn't kicked on already for England. He's always in the squad, but doesn't seem to play much. But that's excellent for a wide man. 19 dribbling, 18 crossing. It's been an absolute nightmare. He should have so many assists, and he's got great strength as well. It's not often you see a wide man with skill, able to run, dribble, cross, and who's really strong. Ronaldo maybe,